I woke up this morning, turned on the TV. Another No Kings rally full of pure insanity. They got inflatable dinosaurs and bears on skateboards, some frog in a tutu doing cartwheels in the front yard, blue-haired Karen screaming fascist at the sky, while beta males in crop tops are trying not to cry. No kings, they're marching in the street, looking like a circus that forgot to bring the beats. White teams standing by, cameras rolling slow, while these clowns block traffic screaming, eat the rich, bro. No kings, my ass, y'all just a bunch of fools, wasting everybody's Saturday, playing by leftist rules. They got signs saying love trumps hate, but they hate half the nation, demanding open borders while screaming defund the station. One guy's dressed as Captain America, another as a cat, some washed up wedding singers singing Imagine Flat. They glue their hands to the road for the climate today, then wonder why the cops show up and haul their asses away. No kings, they're marching in the street, looking like a circus that forgot to bring the beats. White teams standing by, cameras rolling slow, while these clowns block traffic screaming, eat the rich, bro. No kings, my ass, y'all just a bunch of fools, wasting everybody's Saturday, playing by leftist rules. They don't know what they're protesting, they just know they're mad, marching for 12 straight hours like it's gonna fix the world. How sad. From no borders to no police to no America at all, they'd rather burn it down and see this country stand tall. No kings, go home and take a shower. You look ridiculous in your inflatable power. Blue hair flying, beta males nodding along, while real Americans are working and singing our song. No kings, my ass, we already got one. It's called the Constitution, and it's second to none, yeah. No kings, just a whole lot of clowns. God bless America, and pass the popcorn.
Yeah, they're screaming again. We ain't listening. They said the sky was falling when he walked through the door, and called him every name in the book, and still wanted more. While they're out there hugging terrorists and opening up the gate, he's building that wall. They're making America great. They cry about democracy dying every single night, but the only thing dying is their grip on power and their appetite for a fight. Keep the faith, America, he's keeping us safe, while the left keeps cheering for the bad guys night and day. They hate the flag, they hate the fight, they hate the red, white, right there with you too. They want open borders, they want crime in the street. They want your money, your guns, and your God under their feet. They'll fund every protest, every riot, every clown, while American families watch their cities burning down. They scream to fund the police, then call 911. Hypocrites in designer clothes, having way too much fun. Keep the faith, America, he's keeping us safe, while the left keeps cheering for the bad guys night and day. They hate the flag, they hate the fight, they hate the red, white, and blue. But Trump's in the White House saying, not on my watch, not on my crew. So keep the faith, America, stand tall and stand true. He's fighting for you, and I'm fighting right there with you too. They call him a dictator while they censor what you say. They scream about fascism, but they're the ones taking rights away. They love every tyrant from Tehran to Beijing, long as that tyrant hates America and everything we believe. They'll tax you to death and spend it all on their schemes, while red states are thriving and living the American dream. Yeah, they can call us deplorable, call us every name in the book, but we're the ones paying the taxes and carrying the flag while they look. So go ahead and riot, go ahead and scream. We're over here keeping the faith and living the dream. Keep the faith, America, he's keeping us safe, while the left keeps cheering for the bad guys night and day. They hate the flag, they hate the fight, they hate the red, white, and blue. But Trump's back in the saddle doing what real leaders do. So keep the faith, America, stand tall and stand true. He's fighting for me, and he's fighting for you. Yeah, keep the faith, America, we're still here, and we ain't going nowhere. The
right, everybody. Having a very messed up start tonight, but I'm here. We've right before I went live, I looked over and there's my levels over on that machine again. Last night, as soon as I went off the air, it quit. So I don't know what it could possibly be. It's a mystery. I don't much like mysteries. I have no idea how my levels from this microphone, or is it this microphone? Oh, that's interesting. See, God, I don't know. I'm at a complete loss as to what this could be. Try something. Sorry guys, bear with me. That nulled it out. It's from the camera, which I'm not using that audio, so that's fine. Now let me turn the player back on. I think I just fixed it. I don't know what's causing it, but I think I just fixed it. But of course, it's all garfed up now. I'm not going to be able to leave it like this. Man, this is aggravating. Oh well, it'll take me a good hour to get that screen back the way it is, so we just won't stream it right now. It's all right. I'll after the show tonight, I will go back over there and recreate that whole goddamn screen again. Oh well. You have no idea how this upsets me that I can't get these freaking streams going. It just, the things fight me constantly. The thing about Linux is nothing ever goes easy. I cannot figure out how to pass the virtual audio through the thing. I have no audio control at all. So I'm having a real issue with that. Oh, I'm getting the chat room up. All right. Well, anyway, I'm here. It's I don't feel good tonight at all, so I don't know how long this is gonna last. I almost called out. It was one of those. My stomach's hurting. I got a tooth hurting. My guts are killing me, and I don't feel good tonight. And as soon as I went live again, my audio levels started showing up over here, and I cannot figure out why. I know now it's coming from the S10 phone that I'm using as my camera. When I mute the audio on that, which I use that as my backup audio in case something happens to this. As soon as I mute that audio, the feed quits going out over there. So somehow the audio from the camera is ending up over on that other computer, but I can't figure out any way for that to possibly happen. Yeah, I doubt Iran has any UFOs. All right. I do have a few things to cover tonight. We also have a couple of strong storms here that we're watching right here in Illinois, moving into Indiana. And so that's our two areas we're watching. We have two storm chasers out, but I don't think either one of them. Let's see if Brandon's putting out any audio or video. Nope, neither one of them. I don't know why they're not putting out video. All right, so right above me here, that's a live shot of the bridge in D.C. where there's a man perched up there as part of this May 1st pro-communism, anti-American protest that went on, and he's up there. I don't know what he's trying to prove other than he's crazy, but he's up there, and I think the cops are going to do something really funny here. Nothing. Just let him sit up there till he falls off and then scrape up what's left. I'm tired of us spending large amounts of taxpayers' money to rescue the ignorant and the stupid. Now, it's one thing if you went skiing and everything's normal and suddenly there was a landslide. Well, that's what it's for, man. We're going to come try to find you. That's good. But when you make your own problems, like this guy illegally climbing up on a bridge, I don't think we should risk our firemen and our cops' lives going up there to get him. Yeah, I've heard about that ship out there with the plague. All right, so because of time tonight, I am going to probably clear a little early tonight. I am not feeling well tonight. This happens every so often. I'm not in the best health. I need to get my gallbladder taken out, but I have a family member that had hers taken out and it almost killed her. And I also know it's the most overprescribed surgery, but I'm getting to the point where it's starting to hurt me a lot. All right, so let's go over what we got going on. An Eiffel Tower sized asteroid called Apophis, you guys have heard of this one, is going to pass closer to the Earth than many satellites that we have up there. It's going to pass us in 2029. It was discovered back in 2004. Apophis appeared to pose an initial impact threat in either 29, 36, or 68. However, later studies ruled out the possibility of impact. A large asteroid about the size of the Eiffel Tower is expected to come unusually close to Earth, not just inside the lunar orbit, but actually almost inside the geosynchronous satellite orbit. So we're talking about a very tight orbit. and it's going to go right by. It's named Apophis. It's going to be about 20,000 miles out from Earth's surface on April 13th, 2029. We have satellites in orbit that are further away than 20,000 miles. Apophis is classified as a potentially hazardous and is made of leftover raw material that was never part of any planet or moon. When it was discovered in 4, it appeared Apophis might impact Earth in 29 or possibly even 36 or 68. Since then, astronomers closely watched Apophis using optical telescopes and ground-based radar, allowing its orbit to become better understood. Based on this new data, NASA is now confident that there is no risk of Apophis impacting Earth for at least the next 100 years. Apophis was discovered by Roy Tucker and David Tholian and Fabrizio Barniti and Kit Peak National Observatory near Tucson, Arizona. They could only see the asteroid for 2 days because of a technical and weather problems. In December 2004, another team of astronomers in Australia was able to observe the asteroid again. Observations around the world and in space will observe Apophis's historically close approach to better understand its physical properties. In anticipation of the event, NASA has redirected a spacecraft to rendezvous with Apophis shortly after its 2029 Earth close approach. After successfully completing its mission to gather a sample of asteroid, hold on, I gotta let Mama in. Come on, Mama. You alright? What'd you run in like that for? Something chasing you? Something chasing you? What? It just works. What's up? Hey, Ted and Deploribus and Dispatch. Welcome all you guys. The Real Larry and Bukaki. Welcome in, everybody. Ted, I think I mentioned. Matt. I do appreciate you guys all being here. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. The spacecraft that we're sending after Apophis is named the Osiris Apophis Explorer, and it's on its way to meet up with a new target. This is just so strange because Stargate, as you know, is based on the pyramids on Earth and stuff like that. And one of the original bad guys was Apophis, and he was, of course, a Goa'uld, as they call it, and Osiris was his old lady, I guess. So it's kind of interesting. All these same names keep coming up. The European Space Agency is also sending a spacecraft to study the asteroid because they don't want to be outdone, you know. Apophis, I wonder if Russia and China are going to send ones too. Let's link them all together, and maybe we can get this. Maybe we can run into this thing and get it to go away. I really don't think this poses a danger to us. They're relatively sure it doesn't at this point. However, I want you to think about something. If it did, would they tell you? If it did pose a threat to Earth, would they tell you anyway? So I don't care that they say there's no threat because I don't believe them. The most important thing happening in this event is the Apophis will be pulled, twisted, stretched, and squeezed by the gravity of Earth as it goes by in a way that happens only during a very close encounter. The overall pull will change Apophis's orbit around the sun, making the orbit slightly larger and giving it a longer orbital period. So that's interesting. Anytime there's bodies in space, the bodies do interact with each other, and it changes the characteristics of both. Even if one's much larger than the other, the smaller one would have the larger change, but the larger one would also be changed as well. All right. All right, so that's that. The big news there. We already knew about Apophis. The big news there is we've got spacecraft already up there that we're able to divert to this thing. Now, does this spacecraft carry any kind of offensive payload? That would be a negative. I think it's still kind of for the movies right now, but it won't be long before we could send up some kind of payload, some kind of small nuclear explosive device or something that would be able to detonate in the proximity of one of these things, and done so that it would actually change its orbit and take the danger away. They're saying it's not necessary on this one because this one's not going to hit us. But that is a technology we need to get. We really need to get the technology necessary and the ability to go out and to seek out these asteroids before they get here and destroy them. All right. All right, so that's that. All right, the next thing. UFO expert warns mystery craft are outmaneuvering U.S. military in restricted airspace. Now, we've been talking about this for some time, but this disclosure is going to be rapid fire here for a little while, just like it was a few years ago when it started. Basically, we're seeing more and more of these craft. We've got new radar now. We've got better optics. We've got a lot of things we didn't have 20 years ago. And we're seeing these things more and more and more. And the one thing that all of these reports have in common is that these UAPs, or unidentified anomalous, God, guys, I'm bad tonight. I'm not feeling well at all. They just changed it from unidentified aerial phenomenon to unidentified anomalous phenomenon, which means it now could literally be, it could be a turkey dinner flying by, and it would still classify as that. So kind of like they did with global warming, changing it from global warming to climate change to climate disruption. They do this kind of stuff on purpose. That way, no matter what it is, they can say, see, we were right. But that's pretty much all that is. All right. Because if you put the word aircraft in it, aerial, then that word denotes that it uses flight surfaces, and it uses lift, and it uses aerodynamics, and it uses avionics, and we're relatively sure it doesn't use any of those things. And it doesn't seem affected at all by gravity and inertia and things like that. So it's more of a spacecraft than it is an aerial craft, and that's why they've changed it to anomalous instead of aerial. Anyway, on this last Sunday brief, Jeremy Corbell said that unidentified anomalous phenomenon are capable of outmaneuvering the U.S. military, calling the issue a national security concern as Congress pushes for the Pentagon to declassify another 46 videos this week with unexplained events on them. The weaponized podcast show and subject of the upcoming film Sleeping Dog said the video would serve as important data points in the ongoing investigation into UAPs, and that the American people deserve to see what's on those tapes. It's another data set of footage and American people can look at, he said. There are machines, they are craft of unknown origin that fly with impunity in our restricted airspace, and our government has been assessing this as a national threat for decades and decades now. The jig is up. People now know that UAPs are not only real, but they're fairly frequent. Uncertainty remains as to who is creating or piloting these machines and where they're from. Who made these machines that can outpace, outmaneuver, and outperform our greatest warfighters? I want you to know that we have several instances already that have been released where we had one of our fastest fighter jets. I don't remember the number. I'm not a plane guy. I'm not in the planes or boats. I know that's strange. I'm in the ships. But we had several cases already where our fastest ship, our fastest plane, our fastest fighter jet, traveling at Mach 2 or whatever it was, and it's trying to catch up on one of these things. And just as the thing gets in weapons range, they get a tone and lock on this thing, and it takes off at 10 times that speed. It takes off so fast that it's gone in seconds. And I think it's important to note that these things fly 7, 10, 15 times faster than not only our aircraft, but faster than any of our ordnance that we can deploy. Remember, a missile has to catch up with whatever it's trying to catch up with. Missiles go very fast. We don't have any missiles that'll catch these. We don't have anything that will catch these. Our planes can't keep up with them. Our bullets, our missiles, all too slow. We have nothing that can do anything with these craft, even if we wanted to. And this goes back many, many years ago to RAF Bentwaters, where these craft show up over the top of a UK missile facility and shut down the nuclear missiles. They shut down the birds in the tubes. They've been toying with us for a long time. And now every time we see one, our boys request permission to go and try to figure out what it is. And they push their plane to the absolute edge, and it pulls away from them instantaneously. Like suddenly accelerating from Mach 4 to Mach 40 in a matter of 3 seconds. The G forces were literally like 50 Gs, 60 Gs. When you start doing the math on this stuff, 60 Gs would turn our most hardened computer into powder. I mean, we're talking about G forces, you have no idea. We're talking about G forces that are 10 times stronger than any G forces experienced by our astronauts. I want you to think about that. And those guys could barely stay conscious during some of these maneuvers. So, well, you got to look at the scale of this thing. Whatever this is, whether it's living or machine, they have to have the ability to dampen the effects of inertia, inertial dampening. And that is so far ahead of us right now. All right, the real Larry, I'm putting that in my show notes. Putting that in my show notes. All right, so they said the craft in question this time demonstrated instantaneous motion or rapid changes in velocity without an apparent period of transition, such as acceleration or deceleration, and they never noted any of the byproducts that would normally come off of acceleration, heat, even wind as it's warped around lift surfaces like wings will make a pattern in the air. None of that is ever seen by these. These things make their own way without any of the standard avionics or even rocketry that we are aware of here on Earth. So we're talking about something that's probably 200 years ahead of us, maybe 100, I don't know. But it's pretty far ahead of us. And the really scary part is, because it's not Russia, it's not China, okay, it's not anybody we know. The people that are in these craft, or that control these craft, or that are at least sent these craft, they're a lot smarter than us. They've been around a lot longer than us. And they're probably like a level 1 or a level 2 society. We're still a level 0 society. We have not even found out how to nullify the effects of gravity yet. We haven't figured out how to travel faster than the speed of light. We haven't figured out a lot of these things. So we're still basically a society that's in its infancy. And I think that these craft are people, they could be us from the future. They could be gray aliens. They could be out of time, out of place, out of dimension. But whatever they are, they're out there. And they have abilities that are so far beyond. Or are they in a different time sink? And we just see them sped up because of the time differential. And that's why it seems like their craft can make such rapid turns, is because we're actually seeing them out of time sync. There's so many different things that this could be. But the bottom line is we have craft flying around that we can barely scan, we can hardly see, and we can't keep up with. We have no weapons that will fight it. We can't even escape it. If they were to fire something at us, there's nothing we could do about it. I don't know. I shy away from things like it's demonic and things like that. But I can't rule that out, of course, and I have an open mind. Hey, Dom, what's up? Yes, it is. I don't know. Yeah, there's a bunch of scales. I was actually using the one they present on Star Trek. We're considered a level 0 society because we cannot travel faster than the speed of light, and there's 2 or 3 things. But yeah, there's a lot of different ratings. But the truth is, no matter what rating scale you look at, we are in our infancy as a technological race. We've only, I want you to think about something, guys. We've had computers less than 100 years. We just now created our first AI. The first artificial intelligence. In other words, we have procreated without using our reproductive system. Yes, we're doing 0-point energy tomorrow. I'm getting off a little early tomorrow. I've got it all worked out. And I'm going to get home, and the first thing I'm going to do is send a link, and we can connect up early. Yep. The problem with warp drive, as I always say, we cannot do warp drive until we figure out a way to nullify the effects of inertia. Because even if you accelerate to the speed of light, hold on, let me get you the real numbers here. We'll ask Rock. If I'm accelerating top speed, if I'm accelerating top the speed of light, okay, the 3G constant variant. Okay, 3Gs. Now I want you to think about this. Could you live at 3Gs? 3Gs means your body is 3 times heavier than it normally is. How long could you live at 3Gs? All right. Well, if you're going to travel the speed of light, to get up right below the speed of light, it's going to take 2.7 years at 3Gs. Okay. So, in other words, you're pressed up against the back wall, weighing 500 pounds, okay? And you got to do that for 2.7 years in order to reach the speed of light. Now, I don't know what effects that kind of gravity would have on your body, but 3G means 3 times the amount of weight, 3 times the gravity. Then you've got the other problem, which is time dilation. Unless you can know the effects of time dilation, you've got another problem. The 2.7 years that it takes you to go that far is actually going to be 3 or 4 decades back on Earth. So in other words, by the time you get the speed of light, almost everybody you know is going to be dead. I'm telling you, space is a harsh place, man. Space is a harsh place. We see Star Trek where they've got it all worked out. But I'm telling you something, space is a harsh place. Okay? As you approach the speed of light, you're experiencing time dilation, which means you're experiencing time at a much faster rate or slower rate, a much slower rate than the people back on Earth. So in other words, it will take you 40 or 50 years to reach the speed of light if the person watching is back on Earth. Now, you're at the speed of light. Okay, so it took you years to get there, 2.7 years in your time to get to the speed of light. It took 45 years in Earth time to get to the speed of light. Now you're at the speed of light. Where are we heading? Okay, let's say we're heading to Ceti Alpha. Let's say it's 20 light years away. Okay? If you're traveling the speed of light, it now takes 20 years to reach where you're going. You're going to need food and oxygen and the ability to recreate and reconstitute those two things over and over and over again until you're able to reach the other side. Now, 2.7 years before you get there, you have to turn your ship around and you have to begin a deceleration or a braking maneuver. And you're going to have to fire your main engines for 2.7 years in order to slow yourself back down to a nominal rate where you could go into a standard orbit around the planet. Okay, this is how effed up space travel is. It's not easy. Okay, now, you've now made it to the planet. You've decelerated. You're now falling into orbit. Okay, you want to send some kind of message back to Earth to let them know that you're there. Well, we haven't developed subspace communications yet. So you send a signal back. Earth, we have arrived. Well, you're 15 light years away. So that signal now has to travel for 15 years back towards Earth to let them know that you have made it to the planet. But here's the kicker. In the 15 years you were at warp and the 2.7 years you accelerated and the 2.7 years you dropped, 200 years have passed on Earth. And so when they receive your message, they've already invented warp drive and they're coming to get you. That's the futility of space. And until we can null out the rates of inertia and we can control gravity and things like that, there's no way that we can ever do faster than light travel. Just because it takes almost 3 years at 3 Gs to get there. And then almost 3 years at 3G to slow back down. So not only do you have to have an engine that can burn for 6 years. This is effed up, isn't it? You would need an engine that could burn for 6 years. It would need to burn 3 years at the beginning of the 20-year mission and 3 years at the end of the 20-year mission. Now, do you want to come home? By the time you get home, the Earth will have lived over 400 years without you. And you would have aged, 30, 45 years in your spacecraft. So you would be 45 years older, and your planet would be hundreds of years older. You know, the wormholes in the Stargate system, the Stargate universe, that's actually a much smarter and more economical way to move among the stars. It sure is. Um, Let me see what's going on this. We've just got this one storm here, and I had a storm chaser on it, but he's gone. And I think that's pretty much our last one, yeah. I do have a storm. Brandon's out in front of this one, but he's not broadcasting. I don't think either one of these guys have their cameras on. That's true. That's true. Engineer Montgomery Scott on the Janolan, in order to survive, put him and an engineer's patterns into a repeating recursive algorithm, so that every time the thing would start over again, it would just re-put the pattern back in the buffer, and he survived 70 years like that in a pattern buffer. Yeah, that was kind of neat how they did that. They had to somehow retcon it in that Scotty was going to show up in the 23rd century, and so I guess that was better than. I guess that was pretty good. The only thing that I never really got about that episode, Relics, and trust me, it's a great episode. Scotty's my favorite of all time, and I'm also a big LaForge fan. I always loved the engineers. I don't know why, but. I think that there was just a lot of really neat things about that particular episode. I like how they did recreate part of the bridge. I don't know if you know it or not, but when the ship doors open, when Scotty's standing there, and the holodeck doors open, and there's that full scene of the Enterprise, there was only one episode where you got to see the whole bridge with no one on it. And I think it's called This Side of Paradise. It's the one where the flowers were shooting all the shit up in their face, and then they'd get all flaky and weird and want to go live on the planet. That episode right there, I don't know if I got the name right, but it doesn't matter. The point is in that episode, at one point, Captain Kirk's the last man on the ship, and he heads for the transporter room to beam down and abandon the ship. And as he gets on the turbo lift and the doors close behind him, you get this magnificent 10-second shot of the entire bridge. And they used that and remastered that shot to get that scene of him when the doors open. When you see it open for the first time, that's actually an original shot of the original Desilu set. And then after that, you see a closer shot that looks very different. That's because that's the recreated bridge. They borrowed the chair and the front console and some of the parts from some of these productions that are around. I don't remember which ones. But they actually borrowed stuff that people had already made that looked real. That looked as real as it could look. And so they got all that stuff together to shoot that scene of him and Jean-Luc Picard drinking some of whatever it is. What is it? It's green. I just love that episode. But the one thing in that episode, there's two weak writing points in that episode that bug me. Number one, the Janolan crashed on the sphere. Now, suddenly they can drive it back off the sphere. If he could have got it off the sphere, why didn't he do that 70 years ago? I mean, why did they have to put the two of them into the pattern buffer if they were able to get it loose and get it off of the sphere? and become maneuverable again. He does make reference to the power converter that Geordi brought, and I think that's how they retcon it. I think that's the retcon, if you will. They're using a 23rd century power converter that they brought. I don't know. Anyway, the other one is inexcusable, okay? The Janolans' shields are holding the space doors open on the Dyson sphere. Do you remember that? And as the Janolan shields are straining under the pressure, they have to beam them aboard. So Captain Picard says, beam them aboard. And you see the transport start. And then he's like, fire. And you see the torpedoes heading for the ship. They materialized on the Enterprise before the torpedoes hit. Anyone knows you cannot beam through a shield bubble. All right, so that was an error in the episode. It was a necessary one, I guess, but that was definitely an error in that episode. So I love that episode. You shouldn't have got me going. I'm sorry. Yes, Lucille Ball is the grandmother of Star Trek. I'll love that woman for the rest of my life because of it. When I say the original Desilu set, that's the original Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball set that was built on their property, and they sold out during the last year of Star Trek. They sold their studios to Paramount, and that's how the whole relationship started with Paramount. But yeah, the first 2 years were shot on the Desilu set. If you look, I love the graphics that used to come on when we were coming into Star Trek back in the old days, because it would show the peacock. It was a really rough cartoon of the very colorful peacock, and it would say, Star Trek is in color on NBC, in living color on NBC, because it was a big deal back then. Why do you think their shirts were bright colors? Because they were trying to sell color televisions. I'm not lying. That's why. Because they kept telling everybody it's in color. It's provided in full living color on NBC. WNBC. Nope, that's a different movie. Anyway, the other one they would show that would come up at the end is, it would say a production of Desilu, and it would spell out Desilu on the screen. You guys remember that? That was Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball's thing, and she stood up for Star Trek. No one else would take Star Trek. Nobody wanted it. They thought it was weird. And she not only gave them a pilot, she gave them 2 pilots. And Gene, on the second pilot, it was a winner. And next thing you know, it's off to the races. And it never did good until after it was canceled. And then all of a sudden, after it was canceled, people started to discover it in reruns. And next thing you know, we have the Star Trek phenomenon that we have today. Yeah, Kevin, I don't know what state you're in. I'm not getting any political ads, and I normally get them all. We're just, we don't do a lot of, I don't know. I've got some on my station now. I got 1, 2, 3 guys in the District 19 race for Congress that are advertising on my channel, and possibly 1 guy for governor. But we all know that Byron Donalds is going to win that seat. He's literally like 70% to the next person's like 9%. So I mean, we're pretty sure he's going to win that. Oh, really? You know what I'm waiting for, and I'm going to do it. The Wrath of Khan every couple of years will come out. Now, this is Star Trek 60. Coming up in September 9th is Star Trek's 60th anniversary. On that night, we're going to have a special celebration here. I'm sure I'll be wearing my actual gold captain's uniform that night. And we are going to have a celebration. The entire, probably long show on that night will be all about Star Trek. And I'm going to tell you guys all kinds of stories and all kinds of things about Star Trek that you never knew. And it's going to be a lot of fun. That being said, today is May the 4th. And I just wanted to mention, because I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I do think it's an amazing genre out there, an amazing run, and it's also been destroyed by the Wokies. Unfortunately, not the Wookiees, the Wokies. There's a difference. The Wookiees are like, whoa, the Wokies are like, oh no. Anyway, so today's May the 4th. Why is May the 4th Star Wars Day? Well, it's kind of stupid, really. May the 4th be with you. That's why. That's literally why, because May 4th sounds like May the 4th. May the 4th. So because of that, May the 4th be with you. This is Star Wars Day. It's better this day than any other, I guess. Now, Star Trek has 2 different days. Star Trek has the main day, which is the day that the very first episode now see, on September 9th, you've got you basically have that's the day that the first episode aired, and it was in 19 whatever 66, I guess. And we're now in 2026, so it was 60 years ago that, believe it or not, the first Star Trek episode actually took to air. And the sucky part was the 2 they wanted to air first weren't ready yet, so they ended up airing the Salt Vampire, which was kind of a Monster of the Week episode. They really didn't want to start with that. They wanted to start with something a little more grand. But turned out the audiences kind of liked it. It was good. And it was well thought out science fiction. And then, of course, we got to see some other ones like the Outmaneuver, Where No Man Has Gone Before, and stuff that really picked it up from there. But yeah, the very first one to air was the Salt Vampire, which was the first one in air order. And then eventually we actually got to see the pilot. I think it aired third. Their uniforms were different. And then we got to see the original pilot in the 2-part called Menagerie. So it all ended up getting used eventually. Hey, C-Hag, how you doing tonight? Yep, Riverside, Iowa, future birthplace of Captain James Tiberius Kirk. That's correct. And you know, the very first time we saw Kirk's name was on a tombstone in the original Where No Man Has Gone Before, and it said James R. Kirk. And they have since retconned that Gary Mitchell just wasn't thinking, I guess, when he made the thing. Yep, the Cage was actually with Jeffrey Hunter as Captain Christopher Pike. And like I said, we got to see that pilot episode in the 2-parter, The Menagerie, later on. But that was an original pilot that was not accepted by them. And that ended up getting them out of having to write 2 episodes. All they had to write was whatever they needed to go with it. The whole Spock stealing the Enterprise and taking Captain Pike and taking him back to Talos so that he could live out his life in his own brain. Yes, Copper Creek, that was on Voyager. That was a neat episode, very much. Yep, so anyway, I'm sorry if it bores you guys. We'll move on, but yeah, so Star Trek, we got May the 4th tonight. May the 4th be with you. And where we're going to talk about Star Wars. And Star Wars was a good series. I'm just not in the science fantasy. I'm more in the science fiction. I like to know how it works and not just that it works. Star Wars was a lot more into magic and mysticism and unseen forces and things like that, where Star Trek was more into a probable future, and everything that they had was based on what we have today, moving it towards into the future. So it was a very different thing. Um, it was Star Wars and Star Trek were two very, very, very different franchises for that very reason. Well, I will. One of the things I'm going to be doing in the van is I'm going to be going to Ticonderoga, New York, and also to Sandusky, Ohio, and visiting both of the full-size sets. And I plan to do Vegas. I plan to do Star Trek Las Vegas in August one year. And I'll be looking for any of my fans or members, whoever's out there that wants to go with me. I'll pick a few people up on the way. But yeah, I'm looking at doing a lot of that kind of stuff. A trip out to Vasquez Rocks in Agua Dulce out near Burbank, for sure. There's a lot of like places where they shot things that I want to see. Um, I really there's not a lot in California. I don't really care to spend a whole lot of time in California. It's kind of like being behind enemy lines, but I do want to see Vasquez Rocks and potentially a few other things. You know that scene they always show of Starfleet Academy and Starfleet headquarters in San Francisco? Yeah, it's a water plant in San Francisco. It literally is a water plant. But when you shoot it, they can make it look like a much larger building, and it's futuristic looking. And so that shot that they always show on Voyager and Deep Space Nine, anytime they showed a shot of the San Francisco Starfleet headquarters, it was actually a water plant that's outside of San Francisco. Oh, really? That's interesting. Yep, I just know that that's the area where it's at. Vasquez Rocks is in an area called Agua Dulce, and I know that it's inland from Burbank. That's interesting, though. I will tell you that the first three Star Wars, which is actually 4, 5, and 6, starting with The New Hope and Return of the Jedi and The Empire Strikes Back, which was the middle one. Those first three movies were great. I must have watched them 5 times. I remember when Jedi came out, me and a bunch of my buddies went and we watched it, and then we hung around and shit and walked back in and watched it again. Without, you pay once and you just kind of hang out. That's what we did. We literally went and hung out. We crossed the hall and hung out in a different movie for a few minutes. And then we got up and went back over and sat back down again. Hell's going on? Give me just a second, guys. I got some strange ass bizarre shit going on my cameras. I had a car pull up my street, back out, pull up to my gate, back out, pull up to my other gate, back out, pull up to my neighbor's gate, back out. It's like, bitch, you've got me all suspicious now. What the hell are you doing? I'm just pulling up my tower cam so I can scan around and make sure there's nothing wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. Oh well, I don't see anything. Crazy shit happens in this neighborhood. Fantastic Voyage. I do believe I've seen some of that. You have to remember, I'm not a big science fantasy guy, though. I'm really only into space science fiction. But I do remember the name of that. I'm sure if I saw it, I would remember it. Well, Matt, with that Supreme Court decision last Thursday and Friday, with that Supreme Court decision, we're going to pick up a lot of seats. So hopefully we'll still be okay. That's all I can say. I don't know. It's going to be a weird election. It'll all come down to whether Republicans will get off their ass and go vote. All right. Let's see what else I got here for you tonight. Rudy Giuliani is hanging in there, guys. I was a little concerned last night. My host, Trey, is actually good friends with Rudy, and he was actually supposed to see him on Thursday, and I think that's been canceled now. He does political work with him, and he's also personal friends with him. So I sent him the thing about what happened, and he's like, wow, he didn't even know yet. But anyway, yesterday we thought, that he wasn't doing well and this might be bad, whatever. But now it's looking more like oh, okay, I know who that is. Yeah, now it's looking more like he might be okay. They gave him last rites, and the family was coming in for the last goodbye, and he started to rally. And he's been rallying for 24 hours. So let's keep the prayers up for America's Mayor, Rudy Giuliani. Just keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's a good man. He helped us get through 9/11. And we're just going to hope that he's going to be okay. All right, let's see what we got next here. Oh, we did that last night. Frickin' Pocahontas. Well, we did have a little bit of a minor geomagnetic storm earlier today. A surprise geomagnetic storm. A minor yet effective interplanetary shockwave hit Earth's magnetic field on the 4th at about 1450 Zulu, sparking G2 class moderate geomagnetic storms. The source of the shockwave is uncertain, probably a stealthy CME that left the sun late last week. Minor G1 storms are still possible overnight tonight and also on May 6th as we transit the CME's magnetized wake. We are overdue for a super flare. We've all heard of the solar flares, powerful explosions on the sun that pepper satellites with energetic particles and trigger great geomagnetic storms. Well, they can be scary, but not as scary as a new category of solar flare being discussed by researchers. The S flare, a solar super flare, stronger than an X10. The new paper published by the Journal of Geophysical Research suggests we may be overdue for one of these large S flare type events. During the current solar cycle, cycle 25, Earth has not yet experienced an S flare. That's a little unusual, according to researchers led by V.M. Velasco Hera in the National Autonomous University of Mexico. The team looked at 50 years of data from Earth orbiting satellites. Among 95,627 solar flares, they found 37 Earth-directed S-flares. Every solar flare since the 1970s, every solar cycle since the 1970s has produced at least one of these S-flare events, except the one we're in now has not produced it yet. There are some clues to when the next S-flare might happen. In the 50-year data set, the researchers found two underlying rhythms, 1.7 years and 7 years, both linked to magneto-Rossby waves inside the sun. When both rhythms swing into their positive phase at the same time, the probability of an S-flare spikes. According to those rhythms, we're exiting a high-risk X-flare window right now, mid-2025 through mid-2026. The next high-risk window opens in early 27 and lasts for about 6 months. On May 24, Europe's solar orbiter detected two possible X-flares on the far side of the sun. Their intensity, with significant error bars, was 11.1 and an X 16.5. The sun fired the gun. We just happened to be standing behind the target. It fired away from us, basically. Maybe next time, stay tuned for updates as the 27 window approaches. So there you go. There's a chance over the next 2 years for another one of those very large flare events. We definitely need to pass the SAVE Act, guys. I think it's very important. I think the SAVE Act is very, very important. Also, I had a few stories that I put up that I wanted you guys to check out. I'm trying to post 1 or 2 news articles or stories a day, so that you guys can, get an idea of what's going on. I try to post stories that are interesting, and I try to put them in such a way that they're scientific. You can learn something from it. Anyway, if you go to posts on my StarShip Adventures page, there's a couple things I want to tell you about. This morning I woke up, I have not felt good all day. I woke up this morning feeling like absolute shit. And so when I do that, a lot of times I'll just lay in bed and I'll put something on. And that's what I did. I took a bunch of Advil, I just laid down, and the first thing that came up was something that I've been wanting to watch for a while. It's called a documentary called MASH, the comedy that changed television. And I've got a link for it right here in my page. I've also got an article I wrote about MASH and about this particular, it's 90 minutes. It starts with the pilot. It shows that scene where you go by Radar's head as the choppers are coming in. That actually comes from the first episode, the pilot. Talks a little bit about the movie, but then it goes through each character. I learned some things today. The scene, the episode where Henry Blake goes home, and they throw him a big party, and he walks away in his pinstripe suit and flies off into the sunset. And then in the following scene, Radar walks in without a mask on into the surgical ward, and everybody's yelling, "Put a mask on!" And he just stood there with this white, just skin was white. Berghoff played it very well, and he looked at everybody and he said, "Henry Blake's plane was shot down over the Pacific. It spiraled in, and there were no survivors." And he played it so well. And all those men, and women too, Loretta, and some of the other women there, they had to play that scene with nothing but their eyes. I want you to think about this as an actor or an actress. They had to play that scene. They had masks on, surgical masks. They had hats and masks, and they were completely covered except their eyes. And they all were just so great. You could see it in every one of their eyes when they scanned across the room. And There's just some amazing scenes. They talked about my favorite episode, uh, the one with the tontine, which I think is probably the best episode of MASH. The one where all of Colonel Potter's friends have died, his old friends from World War One, and he gets sent the bottle of liquor that they had put away. And that's an amazing episode. And so I just wanted to put that out there, guys, that, you know, if you, it's been a while since you've watched MASH. It hasn't for me. I own it. I own the entire thing. It's this big. Open it up. It's got leaves that come out everywhere. It looks like crazy stuff. But I've got every season. I got the original movie all the way to Amen, Farewell, Amen, Goodbye. I got the whole thing. I also talk in my article about that that final episode of MASH. I think it's called Goodbye, Farewell, Amen, I think is what it's called. And it's a special 2-hour MASH. It's the one that opens with Hawkeye in the insane asylum because of the incident with the chicken on the bus. If you guys have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And Charles runs into that band of North Korean players. And, oh my God, I can hardly watch that last episode. I cried through the whole thing. When that episode aired, it got the most views of any single episode of any show ever. It completely broke all the records. And that episode, when it aired live, not in reruns, when it aired live, it had 125 million Americans watching it. Roughly half of the entire population of the United States of America was tuned into the same channel watching the same television show. It still to this day holds the most watched scripted television episode in history. It still holds that record. It earned a 60.3 rating. And it got a 77 share. No one's ever gotten a 77 share. Meaning that 77% of all televisions in the entire country, 77 out of every 100 televisions was tuned to this show. And that makes it the most viewed television show, scripted television show, because that doesn't count sports and stuff like that. But that it ever's been. The cultural impact of MASH was so amazing that in New York City, water pressure dropped to almost nothing during the commercial breaks. Everybody would run to the toilet. There'd be people in line to piss. And they'd flush that toilet over and over and get back to the show. Well, when you flush 300,000 toilets at the exact same time, it almost takes out the water system completely. They estimated that 1 million New Yorkers on the same water system flushed their toilets at the same time, causing nearly complete loss of water pressure throughout the entire city. This has become known as the MASH flush, and it's never happened before, and it's never happened since. It just wasn't just a sitcom. It was a cultural touchstone. It proved that television could be smart. It could be funny. It could be sad. It could be profoundly human. And it could do all of them all at once. It made us laugh at the absurdity of war while never letting us forget the war itself and how terrible it was. More than 40 years after it ended, it still holds up beautifully. The humor is timeless. The messages are relevant, and the characters feel like old friends. If you've ever watched it, do yourself a favor and start from the beginning and watch it again. Do a rewatch. It's worth it. If you have go back and watch it again, you'll be amazed. MASH didn't just entertain Americans. It helped heal us. It was a show about the Korean War that aired starting right near the end of the Vietnam War. You know that the war only lasted, I think, 4 years. This show went on for 11 seasons. 11 seasons. Between 1972 and 1983, 11 seasons aired 256 30-minute episodes. Yeah. I'll be right back, guys. Just hang in there. This is StarShip Adventures. Don't go anywhere.
Well, dawn broke early on February 28th. Trump gave the word, no more waiting at the gate. U.S. and Israel side by side in the fight. Launch them strikes deep into the Iranian night. Targeting the mullahs, the prayers and their crew, nuking their nukes before they couldn't brew. Tehran shaking with explosions in the air, smoke rising high, showing we mean business there. God bless America, land of the free and brave. With Trump at the helm, we're riding the wave, kicking ass when we must, no apologies here. Iran's regime's done, their end is near. Missiles fly back, but they won't break our steel. U.S. and NATO making the bad guys kneel. Trump's calling the shots, urging folks to rise up, overthrow the tyrants, fill freedom's cup. Trump's message rings out, your freedom's at hand. To the Iranian people, take back your land. We hit their leader, Supreme and the rest. Joined ops with Israel, putting them to the test. They fired back a while at bases in our ally, but our defenses hold under that Middle East sky. No more hiding threats, no more playing games. Trump's bringing justice in America's name. God bless America, land of the free and brave. With Trump at the helm, we're riding the wave, kicking ass when we must, no apologies here. Iran's regime done, their end is near. Missiles fly back, but they won't break our steel. U.S. and narrow, making the bad guys kneel. Trump's calling the shots, urging folks to rise up, overthrow the tyrants, fill freedom's cup. From the Gulf to the skies, the world's watching now. Trump standing tall, showing them how. No endless wars, but when push comes to shove, we protect our own with strength from above. Iran's retaliation, just desperate flails, while our forces strike true, tipping the scales. For peace through power, that's the American way. Trump's leading the charge, saving the day. God bless America, land of the free and brave. With Trump at the helm, we're riding the wave, kicking ass when we must, no apologies here. Iran's regime's done, their end is near. Missiles fly back, but they won't break our steel. U.S. and Israel making the bad guys kneel. Trump's calling the shots, urging folks to rise up, overthrow the tyrants. Yeah, Trump's America, strong and true, kicking ass for me and you. God bless the USA and Trump too.
Well, I turned on the TV, what a sorry sight. Left us out there hugging every terrorist in the night. They scream from the river to the sea while rockets fly, then cry when the bad guys make the good guys die. They'll defend every dictator from Tehran to Havana. Long as he hates America, he's their kind of man. It ain't right and left no more, it's right and wrong. The left keeps picking the bad guys every time they sing their song. They love the tyrants, the thugs and the crooks, while the rest of us are working and reading a good book. Blue states are broken, red states are rolling in dough, but they still scream tax the rich like it's some kind of show. They march with blow-up rats and rainbow capes, blue-haired Karens and beta males in their safe space parade. They glue themselves to the road for the climate today. Tomorrow they're blocking traffic for some new Marxist play. They'll cancel your job if you don't use the right word, but defend every groomer and pedophile they've ever heard. It ain't right and left no more, it's right and wrong. The left keeps backing the bad guys singing the same old song. They cheer for the terrorists, the socialists, the crooks, while their cities burn down and they rewrite all the books. Blue states tax you till you're broke, red states let you keep your pay, but they still scream, eat the rich, every single day. California's bankrupt, New York City's a mess, Chicago's on fire and they blame it on right-wing stress. They spend like drunk sailors on every dumb idea, while red states are thriving with low taxes and cold beer. They print more money than a counterfeit ring, then wonder why inflation's got the middle class on the brink. They say they're for the people, but they hate the working man. They love every tyrant with a 5-year plan, from Hamas to Maduro, from Beijing to Tehran. If he hates America, he's their kind of man. It ain't right and left no more, it's right and wrong. The left keeps choosing evil every time they play that song. They'll back the bad guys, the thugs and the crooks, while the rest of us are praying and reading the good book. Blue states are dying, red states are doing just fine, but they'll keep on spending till they run out of other people's dimes. Yeah, it ain't about left and right anymore, it's about right and dead wrong. Pass the beer, boys, we got work to do.
Yeah, this one's for the real Trekkies, the ones who remember when Star Trek meant something. Alex Kurtzman, you hack, consider this your send-off. You killed the franchise and we're singing over the grave. I used to beam up proud, watch the stars unfold. Bold explorers, logic sharp, stories pure as gold. Then came Kurtzman, Grim Reaper in a suit, turned the Enterprise into a woke-ass reboot. Cursing the day that clown around the set. Now it's teen drama trash. The franchise is dead. Greatest sci-fi ever. No, not anymore. You shat all over Roddenberry's core. Oh, Alex Kurtzman, you ruined Star Trek. Woke Trek forever. What a pathetic wreck. Barefoot captains, pajama queens on the bridge. Cadets fat and whiny, playing high school gigs. A checklist, virtue signaling lectures, Forescape pandering, feelings over vectors. You hate the show, you hate the fans, you hate the dream. Starfleet Academy, more like a bad fever dream. Beam me the hell out of here, Scotty, I'm done. Captain Nalake, Holly Hunter's barefoot joke. Strutting in PJs, no shoes. Someone's got a fetish poke. Talks like gravel in her mouth. Sits like a smug damn cat. Refuses to split a kid from a crook. Starfleet, where's that at? All power to forward shields while getting hit from behind. Technical idiocy shows you got no mind. Women always stronger, smarter.
Sorry guys, I had some family members stop by with a little situation I had to help them with, but we're good to go. I'm back here. Do you have any songs that don't have a banjo and cry in your beer? None of the songs I played today featured a banjo at all, as a matter of fact. They're actually inspirational songs, I believe. Nice music for a funeral. I think that's a troll. What do you guys think? I love when people come in, they're never here, they never come around, but then all of a sudden they've got all these great comments. Hi, Daddy. You saying hi to everybody? Hi, Goldie. Hi, buddy. Oh, I know, I love you too, buddy. That was a good movie, Fantastic Voyage. It was. We watched it in school. I was very surprised. They showed it in school as if it was an educational video. But we enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun because it was a feature-length film. And at the time, it was pretty well done. Pretty well written. So I thought that was kind of cool. There's, of course, some scientific faux pas in there, but not too bad. Well, Sean, if you're not a troll, can I ask what was wrong with the music? I had to. I don't normally do that, but I had to take a break for a few minutes, and I don't know. I thought the music was somewhat inspirational, but okay. I write this stuff to be inspirational. Then I have AI make it for me. I thought that it was. I thought that it was good. So. All right, I guess we're all entitled to our opinion. All right. Well, I mean, I work hard on the music. I actually am interested. If it's crap, let me know it's crap. Just so you guys know, once we go off the air tonight, I'll turn it back on over there. I have figured out what's wrong with it, but now I got to reset everything over there. But over on Starship After Dark, I have all this music. Yes, Daddy. I have all this music over on Starship After Dark, and you guys can go over there and you can listen to it. It just plays in a loop. And it's all mixed up. No, it's no problem, Sean. Yeah, it's no problem. I look. I have to every now and then take a break. You guys remember, I do 3 hours of live radio at a radio station. Then I come home and do 2 or 3 hours of live YouTube with you guys. And sometimes life gets in the way a little bit. I do it 7 nights a week, and I'm averaging missing a show about every 12 days. So that's really not bad. Yep, this is Goldie, or Daddy Kitty as I call him. He had a stroke, but he's doing pretty good. He's about 12 years old now. Isn't that right, buddy? I can't let him in that often, I'll be honest. He's like this the entire time he's in. He won't go away. He will continue headbutting me. If I let him stay in here for 2 hours, he would still be headbutting me just like this. He wants me to scratch his neck in perpetuity. All right. Well, it's no worry, Sean. Trust me, it's not a big deal. I just, yeah, I built all that music because I got sick of the copyright bull crap. No matter what, I would go on YouTube, and I would look up free music with no copyright, and then I would use it, and then I would get hit by copyright. It was terrible. I was losing monetization on almost every video, and yeah, it was like, what? I don't understand what's going on, the best way to do it is just use Suno and just make your music. And what I do is I'm topical. If there's a war in Iran, then I open the show with a song about that war. And I like it. It only takes me about maybe 15 minutes or so to, I only make, I make them for each day, and then I save them. If you guys want the videos, or I'm sorry, if you want the all those songs, you can get them. I have them right here. I'll give you the link right now. There we go. Copy link. I'm going to put the link in, and if there's any of those you guys like, you can get them. There's 55 or 60 of them in right now, of songs that I've made, and I like them. I think they add to the show somewhat. I think they add to the channel, and I think it's a good thing. Yep, so that's how that is. But no, I appreciate all you guys being here tonight. Thank you all for being here, and I'm going to be signing off soon. I'm not feeling well tonight. But I just wanted to get through as much of this as I could, and I did want to mention to you guys this thing about MASH. I wanted to get through this. There's no special day or anything for MASH, but I just wanted to bring it up. There's a link in my article that I wrote about that video, so please take a look at that. I think you'll like it. And yeah, and like I said, I've got the link to that. If you don't want to go find it, I can just throw it in here. If you guys are at all into MASH, this is 90 minutes you won't regret spending. They interview all of the cast. They interview every one of the cast members, which I thought was really cool. They all got to talk about their particular character and all that kind of good stuff. So, hey, from Philly, what's going on? Sean, it's no big deal. Trust me, it's not. I'm sorry. I thought you were trolling me. It's not a big deal, though. I even don't have a problem with trolls, to be honest with you. They help my algorithms. There you go. All right, and Shengwen Umbra just got promoted to Ensign Junior Grade, welcome aboard. Thank you. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? Yeah, I don't. Sometimes I don't know who's who. Oh, yeah, MASH is so good. Probably the best show ever made. There was other good ones too. I loved Carol Burnett's show. I loved WKRP in Cincinnati. There was even some other ones like Barney Miller and stuff was good shows back then. There was good TV back then, but nothing compared to MASH. Nothing. Definitely one of the best shows ever made. All right, let's see here. What else do we got? Of all the different people in MASH, I don't know, you might be surprised, but I love Colonel Potter. He was my favorite. And also, the guy that played Father Mulcahy. I loved Father Mulcahy, and I'm not even a religious guy, but the way that man, he was in almost every single episode for 11 years, and he's such a great actor, and he owned that part so well, and so he's one of my favorites too. I liked Sidney the Shrink. I know it's crazy. Colonel Flagg was fun. I liked them all. I also, believe it or not, hated Charles Emerson Winchester, and I started liking him towards the end. I really like him. And David Ogden Stiers did a great job. He played in a Next Generation episode called Too Young a Season. Or something like that. And it was good. It was good. Yeah, MASH is great. When we go up to the cabin, I put a disc in just about every day. And we'll, at some point throughout the day, we'll sit there and watch MASH. And it'll play, I think there's 7 or 8 episodes on a disc. 3 discs per season, 11 seasons. I think there's 33 discs plus 1 for the movie and 1 for the farewell. And we just put one in and hit play. And it's such... another neat thing about MASH? They found different ways to tell the story. They told the story one time from a dead soldier. He was a spirit. And they told it well. They told it from a standpoint of a soldier that had been injured and was brought into the hospital. The entire thing was shot from his eyes, basically, laying in the bed. And you got to see everybody, and everybody got stuff for him and did stuff for him. But you got to see the whole process of arriving at he was out and he got hurt, and you got to see him go through the battalion aid station and everything else. And then they had ones where the entire show was shot in black and white, and it was done like on a newsreel. They had other ones that were done where one of the characters was writing a letter home about all the other characters, and that became the episode. They always found neat ways to write episodes. They would reverse the timing, where they would show you what happened first, and then you'd go back and see how it happened later. They did a lot of episodes where the storytelling was from a single standpoint, or from a single person. I don't know. I thought it was neat that they found so many different ways to tell the story. See, when you watch Seinfeld, or you watch Friends, or one of these other great sitcoms that lasted so long and everything, when you look at those, they told the same story every week. There was no new way of telling the story. In MASH, they had 10 different ways of telling stories. And now a lot of them just went straight the way they tell a television story. But so many of them had this unique way of doing it that was kind of amazing. No, I don't have Kick or Rumble. I don't do any of that stuff. Now, am I saying I'm never going to? No. But I am maxed out right now just doing YouTube and trying to keep up with I produce the #1 rated show down here on terrestrial radio, and I'm trying to build this channel here. And it's just a lot of work every day for me, but I'm trying very hard, and I want to get more stuff going. I have a few things integrated, but it's none of it works right. It's just a pain in the ass. The nutty CIA guy was Colonel Flagg. That was Colonel Flagg. And he always came in playing somebody else. And he was delusional. Yeah, there was such great characters on that show. All right, guys, last call for the chat room. I got a splitting headache. Is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about tonight? See what I mean? He won't stop doing this. Eventually, we'll have to put him out because he won't. He'll sit down for a minute. Now he's already loving on me again. I don't know what that's all about. Okay, let's see. What do we got up here? Frank Burns. Yeah, Frank Burns. Ferret face and hot lips. Dispatch, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. When I make a big deal about all caps, it's because I don't like people that think that their speech is worth more than everybody else's. That's the reason. Because if I'm typing in regular letters and you're typing everything in capital letters, why do you get more of an attention than I do? I don't understand that. So that's the only reason. If we have a rule that if you have a question, put it in caps, then that would be perfectly fine. I think that's a great idea. 6.0 earthquake. Yeah, I saw that earlier, unless there's been another one. Yes, and I think Flagg said that several times. Yeah, there's nothing new on that. So apparently the tsunami warning has come and gone. I don't see anything on that now. Okay, no one was triggered by capital letters. I think that's where you're misstating the facts. No one was triggered by anything. What I'm asking as a free speech chat room is that everyone has equal access to the chat room and that everyone's speech is given equal importance, whether I agree with it or not. To me, that seems perfectly reasonable. But you're saying I'm triggered over it? Okay, no. Just because I have a rule and I follow a rule in my channel doesn't mean I'm triggered by it. Okay? You can have a rule and enforce a rule. That's the way it works. All right? And I think it's an important rule to make sure that in my chat room, everybody has equal access to everyone else's time and attention. I don't see a problem with that. Yeah, the trolls come in here and they type in all capital letters, and they type the same thing, and they put it in 5, 6, 7, 9 times, and a bunch of emoticons and everything else, and it's distracting. It runs the chat room so fast. We had a guy come in one night, he was putting the same all capital post in 15 times, and I was having to scroll up just to see what people were doing. And so, no, we're not going to allow that. It's free speech. I will not ban you because of your thoughts, because of your feelings on things. However, if you're disruptive to the chat room by typing everything in all capital letters and spamming over and over and over again, or typing racial slurs or, words that do trigger lots of people, then we just ask you to stop. And if you don't, then we just get rid of you for a while. I don't care. I like everybody to have free speech, and I want everybody to have free speech. Nobody's triggered over the capitals. The capital letter thing was simply because I want people to have an equal access to the chat room. I'm sorry if you can't see the logic there. I'm not even really triggered by trolls anymore, to be honest with you. I like trolls. I want to debate trolls. I can't get them to come in anymore. I found that people used to say, if you ignore them, they'll leave. That's the easiest way to get rid of trolls. Well, number one, I don't want rid of them. I like them. They help my algorithms. Number two, I want to debate them. I love open debate. And I want to debate them as much as I can, because the truth comes out in true debate. And a lot of times the truth is the other side won't debate. That's the truth. But regardless, the truth comes out. And that's why I really love it. What triggers you, Daddy? Oh, this cat is nuts. I do. I love debate. I love debate. And you know what's funny? The debate has, the left has such a moral low ground, a political low ground, a logical low ground. They don't ever want to fight. They don't ever want to debate. I can't get them to debate me. When I start debating someone on the left, they call me Hitler and they leave. That's how you know you win. Anytime you can get one of them to call you a socialist or a fascist or to call you a name and leave, you win. They lose. And if they stay and argue with you for a while, you win, because it helps your algorithms. Some of the best shows I've had were shows where I debated trolls. Because when YouTube's algorithms see that I'm going back and forth with multiple people over and over, and my regular people are all commenting and everybody's commenting, they immediately start showing my show to more people. It's called impressions. And they will show my show to more people. Why are we talking about Apophis if it's not going to be near until 2029? Well, we talked about it today because NASA just diverted a spacecraft to go and to intercept it. I thought that was a big deal. And I cover space and science quite a bit. I prefer space and science over politics. Yeah, we normally just time out. I've only blocked one person from my channel in the last 60 days. And that was a man that threatened to get me fired from my radio station job because he didn't agree with my speech here on YouTube. And he was going to call the FCC and report my radio station, my terrestrial radio station. And he was making threats. And so, yeah, I got rid of him and reported him. That's what you do. Yeah, don't piss off the mods. That's true. My mods, I've asked my mods to go easy. and to not be heavy-handed. But if you start spamming with all caps, they're going to time your ass out. I want a free speech chat room, but I also do need moderation. Yeah, also I think the, who did I say it was? The European Space Agency, one of them, they're sending a spacecraft too. So we found out today we got 2 spacecraft that are going to intercept Apophis. So that's why we brought it up again. Other than that, there is no new news with Apophis. No, no, I don't think it's related to the missing scientist, but who knows, man? It's a mystery, and they're all in the same field, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to see those guys again. Look, I'm going to tell you something about leftists right off the bat, okay? A leftist always has to fight from the low ground. And no matter what, whether it's on my radio station, whether it's here, whether it's on social media, whether it's when I guest on other places, it's always the same thing. They want to yell at you about your beliefs and your thoughts, and the moment you break it down to facts and science and actual things that you can prove, they call names and they drive away. I call it drive-by debating. They literally will start the debate and then they'll flip you off, call you Hitler, and drive away. That's what they do every time. And there's a reason for that. Yeah, the reason's partially because a lot of them aren't that bright, but the actual reason, the real true reason why most leftists will not debate me or anyone else, they won't do it. We ask for it every Friday, every hour. He asks for anyone out there that's a liberal to call in and explain anything to him. No one will call in because they don't have a case. I mean, how do you argue when you have gays and queers for Hamas? When you're for Maduro but you're against kings? I mean, it's all non sequitur, you know? Everything the left does is non sequitur. So it don't take but 2 minutes of conversation to work them into a corner they can't get out of, because they're literally fighting from the low ground. They have a shitty case. They have their whole thing's based on bad morals and bad science. You know, they argue things like men can have babies. We should have tampons in men's rooms. Come on, are you kidding me? And that's the kind of crazy lunacy that we have to deal with the left, because nothing's normal with these people. It's always some crazy thing that's out there. Sean, I don't have a radio station. I work at a radio station. I work at 92.5 Fox News here in Fort Myers, and I produce the #1 talk radio show locally and the #1 overall talk radio show in Southwest Florida. That we the only radio show anywhere on any channel that gets higher ratings than us is Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck beats us by about a point. We do really good, and we're about to be on TV. We're going to actually be on one of our CW channel here, 2 hours of our show. They just set the cameras up today in our studio. So it's going to be a TV and a radio show. I've produced for this station for 15 years, and I'm retired fire chief. I was a fire chief for a fire department here in Fort Myers. I started out as a volunteer, went paid a year later. 3 years after that, I went to officer school and became a lieutenant. Did that for many years, running the training department, and then I made captain, deputy chief, chief. Was the chief for 2.5 years, and finally decided that administration was actually worse than being out on the road, and I left. And when I left, I went and did a few odd jobs for a little while, and then I walked into my radio station 15 years ago wearing a suit, and they hired me. I asked them one time, I said, "Why did you hire me?" And they're like, "Because you're over 40 and you were wearing a suit." That's really all it took. They've had so many employees that didn't last or didn't do well, and they hired me right off. And I've been there ever since. They've laid me off one time for a few months, brought me right back when the next show started. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's going to be a radio station with a radio mic, but we're going to be broadcasting it on TV. They put all brand new LED lighting in the studio. It looks really nice. And I can't wait till next week when we actually take to television with our show. Daddy, I'm kind of busy, a little bit. Well, deploribus, I normally, right now, I dress in a collared shirt and slacks. We do business casual. And that's how we're going to be on the air. I won't be seen all that much. Although one of the cameras does spin around and look at us, I don't know. I don't think we're going to actually be on the camera that much. I don't care about that, to be honest with you. My host will be on the whole time, but... I think so. I was a radio host for about 9 years when I got my amateur radio license, so I kind of did it the other way around. But I also, I was a full-time firefighter and a part-time dispatcher. So I did a lot of dispatching for fire and EMS. I even did some law enforcement dispatching early on. And I was on the comms team and the disaster teams and responded to Andrew and Opal and a bunch of different storms, and was very, very active in public safety. No wife, no kids. So I basically devoted my life to my career. Yeah. No, we're not going to wear ties. There's no way. It's radio, for Christ's sake. Yep, it should be fun. I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to it. They just put all the switching equipment in. I got a whole new panel now with all the switching equipment. I got another screen. I now have 5 screens on my console at work. It's almost as many as I have here for this main computer here. And then, yeah, I think we're going to be adding one more for a composite screen. Yeah, and incognita, you do have to let it go. My first year, I didn't talk a lot. I was the producer, but I was very shy. I never would talk about anything personal or anything else. Now I'm on there like, yeah, I had to take a crap. I really don't care anymore. I'll say anything on there. I don't care. You just get to the point where it doesn't matter. The ending to Wrath of Khan still gets me. Yeah, I've got a face for radio and a voice for print. Works great. You got a face for radio. Yep. Yeah, well, the end of Wrath of Khan, are you talking about where Spock dies? Because, I mean, you have to remember, Spock wanted out of his contract. He was done. And then, of course, as soon as they finish shooting the movie, he tells him, I can't wait to come back and do the next one. And then he got to direct the next one. And The Search for Spock. Leonard Nimoy actually directed that. And then he directed 4. And then Bill Shatner made a big deal, so they let him direct 5. Yep, remember guys, we're going to do 0 Point Energy tomorrow. I'm going to be dialing up these guys. I'm going to be sending them a link about an hour before the show so we can get dialed in and make sure everything works. It should be good. I'm hoping. I mean, I'm hoping I know the show will be good. I'm hoping the connection is good. Yeah, I like Portland Andy. I watched Portland Andy before I started doing this kind of coverage. And I take his coverage now and mention him quite a bit on the channel. Yeah, the whole Spock dying thing I can't stand, but it is what it is. We got him back. And, yeah. Yeah, The Lieutenant was a show that was written and produced by Gene Roddenberry before Star Trek. Yeah, Ricardo Montalban was great. Yeah, I mean, I really didn't like the guy. That tells me he was a good actor. When I leave a movie and I hate a character, I have a lot of respect for the actor because that's how that happens. Good acting, good writing. All right, guys, Daddy's telling me it's time to go. Is that what you're saying? It's time to go? What do you think? Should we go? Yeah, they did. A lot of people hated that J.J. Abrams second movie because of what they did. I didn't hate it. I thought all 3 of the J.J. movies were good. I look at them as it's a different universe. I look at it, the whole Calvin universe as a different universe. Yeah, O'Hara is busy. I am listening. That was from Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home on the Klingon bridge. Yeah, I'm really good with the Star Trek movies. I know the movies really well. All right, guys, I guess we're going to call it here. I'm about done, to be honest. All of our cameras are going out or flipping to something else, of course. So let's go ahead and go. Good night, everybody. Listen, we'll be back tomorrow night, and we'll be doing the same thing all over again. So I hope you guys join us. Sean, thank you for being here tonight. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Yep, we'll see you guys on the flip side. All right, as always, I'm going to play a song on the way out, and then I'll play the opener, if you guys, or the closer. If you guys haven't stayed and seen the closer, it might be a little nostalgic for you. I closed my channel out like we did back in the 70s with a station sign-off. So I think it's kind of cool. All right, guys, we'll see you guys next time. Again, this is StarShip Adventures. And this show is called The Sights and Sounds of Earth, and I'm on just about every single night right here at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Check out our channel on Starship After Dark. We are our channel Pile Up Radio is up, and I'll have it back on here again either in a few minutes or tomorrow morning. But now I know what's wrong, so I'll be able to prevent that problem we've been having going forward. And it's just going to play music over there. Shows your radar. Play some music. My God, can you give it a rest, please? I have to eventually just put him out. He won't stop. It's incessant, and that's why eventually he's looking at me now like you're an asshole. He's pouting. He's laying here pouting because I yelled at him a little bit. That's as much as I ever yell at him right there. All right, guys. Oh, I'm so tired. All right, guys. Listen, I'll see you guys later. Have a good night, everybody. 7-3s. We'll see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, back here on the Sights and Sounds of Earth, where I'll probably have this going on again tomorrow. This cat is nuts. All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. What? Seriously? Seriously?
From the town squares to the digital streets, we got a one sacred right that nobody defeats. It's the fire in our veins, the roar in our soul, freedom of speech, making America whole. Listen up, brothers and sisters, gather around the flame. First Amendment's calling, shouting out our name. Congress should make no law, that's the promise we hold. No chains on our words, no stories left untold. Religion free to worship, no state telling you how. Assemble in the street. They'll try to cancel, they'll try to shadow ban, label hate speech what they don't understand. Big tech, big government, colluding in the dark. But we got the First Amendment, lighting up the spark. No law can gag the preacher, no rule can hush the crowd, no censor can drown the patriot shouting proud. This ain't just paper, it's blood, sweat and fight, the heartbeat of liberty burning through the night. So raise your voice high when the storm winds blow. Defend the right to speak, let the whole world know. From Cape Coral shores to the Rockies peak, we guard this freedom, it's ours to keep. The Constitution stands like a rock in the stream, protecting us all from the tyrant's bad dream. No king, no committee, no elite decree can never take away what makes us truly free. Freedom of speech, let it ring out loud and clear. The First Amendment's standing tall.
Welcome back to reality.
Is that special someone in your life screaming at the TV every time they see our president? Crying in public because literally Hitler just tweeted? Still wearing their Teachers Union supporter shirt from 2012 while yelling fascist and Nazi? Well, help is finally here. Introducing Trumpanol, the leading treatment for acute Trump derangement syndrome in adults. Available in original Trumpanol daily tablets, MAGA strength Trumpanol for MSNBC addicts still crying about 2016, Trumpanol anal suppositories for when the derangement is really deep-seated, Trumpanol butthurt cream for triggered snowflakes, Trumpanol overreaction ointment to calm hysterical meltdowns, Preparation Orange for that burning sensation every time they hear his name, Trumpavol to finally let go of their Oval Office obsession, MAGA ears to stop hearing racist and fascist in every sentence, Trump drops to dry up the endless tears over mean tweets and see reality for the first time, MAGA middle for monthly emotional cycles triggered by Fox News, MAGA, the performance enhancer that makes your sex life great again. Hopefully this will help her chill out. Trumpalax, the powerful laxative that helps them shit out years of liberal brain rot. Trump wipes for cleaning up after explosive emotional diarrhea on social media. Trumpicillin, the antibiotic that kills TDS bacteria and CNN talking points. Trunquil, the nighttime bitching, complaining, protesting, hating, stupid head fever so you can rest medicine. Slip into a peaceful acceptance of reality. Trumpanol, for rapid onset TDS, comes with a fact-acting IV applicator. Trumpacid, calm your belly when the bad orange man comes on TV. Patriot patches, for steady and continuous medication so you don't relapse in the office later. And LibBlock condoms, specially formulated to attack and kill liberal or socialist sperm, because the last thing you want is little liberals running around with your last name. Trump PM, get a good night's rest and wake up loving your country. Trumpacaine, a topical analgesic that will put away the pain of defeat after the next election. Trump Anti-Raid Rub, it's gonna be a great massage. Trump Ozak, specially formulated to ease the anxiety associated with red hats, orange hair, and the success of others. MAGA tugging cream, to prevent friction injury while she is spending all that time protesting. Trumpilium, mood stabilizer for the real crazy ones that need extra help. Trump adrenaline blocker, for when you can't stop yourself from running down an ICE agent. Trump Zempic, because no one should have to be fat and liberal. MAGA Meltdown Gummy Bears infused with THC, a fast-acting way to take your medicine. Comes in 2 flavors, original and now the new Freedom flavor. Trumpons, absorb your monthly meltdowns with Trumpons approved for use in Minnesota men's rooms. Comes with the orange MAGA applicator. Finally, if all this does not work, try alcohol. Introducing the new Landslide Lager, a Trumpanol-infused alcoholic beverage. Drink your ignorance away with Landslide Lager. Trumpanol is a medication that works fast to reverse the debilitating symptoms of TDS and bring your loved one back to reality.
Side effects may include uncontrollable urges to be nice to the people around you, sudden improvement in critical thinking skills, excessive consumption of red meat and outdoor grilling, spontaneous outbursts of America, enthusiastic patriotism, flag waving, and an inexplicable desire to get a job or start a nuclear family. Patients have also reported increased tolerance for differing opinions, temporary loss of victimhood, sudden appreciation for border security, complete remission of pronouns and biosyndrome, spontaneous voting for lower taxes, and in extreme cases, you may even become an entrepreneur and start your own productive business. Do not take Trumpanol if you are allergic to winning, common sense, or constitutional republics. Available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Buc-ee's, Radio Shack, Sky King Fireworks, the Portland Airport, in the Portland Mall, and in the Trumpanol kiosk at the ICE building in Portland, Oregon. Or just buy it wherever fine psychedelic and hallucinogenic drugs are sold. Trumpanol. Get back to reality. Stop being a crazy bitch. Ask your doctor if Trumpanol is right for you.
Trumpanol, welcome back to reality.
This is the YouTube channel StarShip Adventures, broadcasting live from StarShip Studios in North Fort Myers, Florida, in the United States of America. We thank you for joining us this evening for another broadcast of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, covering every breaking news story across this troubled planet of ours. We brought you the raw, unfiltered pulse of the world in real time through our unique multi-screen format, broadcasting in high definition worldwide via fiber optic connection. StarShip Adventures, a new kind of YouTube content. To our regular viewers, our loyal crew members, our amazing moderators, and everyone who tunes in each night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we thank you. Your support keeps this independent voice alive and well. We'll be back tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern with another live edition of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on StarShip Adventures. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and may God bless you and these United States of America. This is StarShip Adventures, and this concludes our broadcast day. Good night, America, and around the world. Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Foxtrot Sierra. Signing off. QSY, 7-3s, everyone, 7-3s.